to The Back Cover, the podcast that explores the classic soul music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm Karen Williams. Join me and my co-host Steve Williams, no, we're not related, as we flip over the album covers and share stories of the movers and shakers that created, wrote, and produced those iconic sounds. We'll educate and entertain you, all while keeping the music alive. Hi, everybody. It is so good to be back doing our podcast. Steve and I have been on kind of hiatus for a while, and we just started our new internet radio station and show at thesoundofsoul.net. Thesoundofsoul.net. We're doing 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s great music, and Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for right now from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're doing our show, The Ride Home. So we hope you'll join us on our new venture and hope you enjoy this new podcast.
Oh.
That was the formerly known as the Hutchinson Sunbeams.
Sunbeams, yes.
Little girls. They used to be a little gospel group that used to come on Chicago TV every Sunday called Jubilee Showcase. Then they grew up and they became the Emotions.
Emotions, their first song, So I Can Love You.
So I can love you.
On Stax Records in Memphis.
And I said, it's really funny. They went from singing gospel to So I Could Love You a little bit more. And you said, what's her name wrote that song? Wanda.
Yeah, Wanda wrote that song.
I'm like, wow, that was all bottled up under that little Hutchinson Sunbeam.
Well, you see... One is your job, the other is your passion.
Which one was her passion? So I Could Love You?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
A lot of groups and artists did that because it was just more money. I mean, gospel paid, but it didn't pay way.
Gospel, this is what gospel paid you. They paid you money to get there. They gave you dinner.
God bless you, baby.
They took up a little offering for you after you sang, and they sent you on your way. That was pretty much how that whole thing worked. Before people got sophisticated.
Yeah.
The church ladies would get in the kitchen. They fry up a whole bunch of chicken, make some pound cakes. We going to fix them dinner when they come.
Now, they'll feed you now.
Oh, they'll feed you.
Yeah, because your mother was a gospel pianist.
Well, she played for many churches. Many denominations. So I can tell you about almost every denomination. But the Baptist people, they would fry up the food. They had the food because we got a Sunday afternoon program. That's what they call it. We got a program Sunday afternoon. We got the so-and-sos coming over. And the so-and-so, we're going to have dinner after church.
We're going to have a singing.
Yeah, we're going to have a singing. They fix up all this food, and the people come and they eat. And then they go upstairs and they sing. They take up a collection, and they give them the money, and they send them on their way. So it wasn't a whole lot of money in gospel.
Well,
at that time.
They made money.
They made money, but they didn't make it like the money they made in secular.
Now, the recording artists, local groups, or local people didn't make no money because, gas money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gas, and they fed them, and they sent them home.
But the bigger artists at the time, because believe it or not, Aretha's father, C.L. Franklin, was one of the first traveling evangelists.
From the Midwest?
From Memphis.
From Memphis, okay.
Yeah, and he landed in... So
they were out of New York at one point, weren't they? I think her mother ended up in New York.
Her mother ended, yeah.
Yeah.
And people didn't know. Her mother was a wonderful woman. She was just, they diagnosed her being manic depressive.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Double dose of the Jackson 5. Who's Loving You? And also, I'll Be a Fool for You.
Now, what album was that from?
I have no idea.
Was that on? That must have been a B-side.
I think that was the B-side of Who's Loving You. I think that
Who's
was
Loving You? Wasn't it a B-side of something else?
No.
You sure?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so we've covered, let's see, who have we covered so far? We've done the Dells, the Ohio Players,
Dramatics,
Emotions, Impressions, the Shy-Lights. You said you can't play the Independents because that makes you cry.
I'll pull it up soon.
I know, when we get ready to go off.
No, I'll play it,
But it makes you cry.
It makes me
We
cry.
did not mention Walter Jackson.
The man had a golden voice.
Mm-hmm.
Golden voice.
Right. Was on crutches.
Yeah.
But had a great voice, and people would go pay money to see him.
They thought he was going to fall off that stage, and the women were just waiting.
To do what?
For him to fall.
Oh, okay.
So they could catch him.
Okay. We also played the Originals.
Yeah.
You said were from Chicago?
No, they're from Detroit.
From Detroit.
But what happened, they were on another record label, and Marvin Gaye discovered them. So Barry went over and bought the whole company.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic Four, the Originals, and a few others that I could call their name, but go on.
Okay. So those are the ones that we've covered so far. You haven't done any Yvette Stevens.
I got to get my boy Gene Chandler. The
yes. Duke. Gene Chandler.
As I walk through this world, nothing can stop the Duke of Earl.
Right. So lots of groups. If anybody has some other groups or other performers that they know that we haven't mentioned as part of our Midwest salute.
That's part of his rock and roll show. Gene Chandler.
What?
Gene is almost 80-something years old, and when he comes out, he has that top hat and that cane and that cape.
Uh-huh.
As I walk through this world, nothing can stop the Duke of Earl. I ain't mad at it at all. But he had so many other soulful hits,
Mm-hmm.
But the Duke is the crossover hit that
keeps him
working. Keeps him working, yeah. But now on the black side, Rainbow 65.
Right.
Or Rainbow 80 in my case.
Okay.
Did
he do Rainbow 80? He
redid it? He really did it about 90 times.
So is there a Rainbow 2020?
Coming out soon. But no, I had the opportunity to meet him some years ago. Very, very nice guy.
Yeah, he hangs around in this area quite a bit too.
Oh yeah, he's friends over here.
Yeah, he's got friends over here. So he's in the area quite a bit. So yeah, those are the ones that we've covered so far. You did a Lou Rawls. Didn't you do a Lou Rawls?
I did a Lou Rawls earlier
in the day. Right. And you mentioned the Impressions and Jerry Butler, but
I played some Impressions.
But did you do Jerry Butler?
Jerry is coming, baby.
The Iceman.
Iceman. Why did they call him the Iceman?
Because he was so cool.
He just stood there and sang.
Right. He didn't move
Didn't
around.
sweat. Too clean to sweat.
Right.
I ain't messing up my clothes.
Right. He was the Iceman.
Iceman. Oh! The commissioner of the North Side.
Now, I know we don't get in heavy with the blues or anything, but were there any blues artists that would be considered bluesy from
we have some.
You got Coco Taylor.
That's blues.
No, that's blues.
But she was originally from Mississippi.
Okay. Were there any blues people originally from the Midwest? We didn't really have the blues. Well, they created Chicago blues.
Well, that's the Delta blues electrified.
Coming to Chicago. That's
now, what the people now call, what the young folks call blues was the R&B back in the day.
Right.
Now, Johnny Taylor lived in Chicago for a while he sang with the QCs and the Soulsters, and he was ordained in Chicago by the Reverend Clay Evans. But when Betty Crutcher wrote that song, Who's Making Love?
To Your Old Lady.
To Why You Out Making Love.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Now, Tyrone, may he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace.
Was from
Tyrone Davis.
He was from Clarksdale, Mississippi, by way of Flint, Michigan, by way of Gary, because he was working as a valet for Freddie. I'm not going to say Freddie Jackson.
No, it wasn't Freddie Jackson.
It was, I forgot his last name, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was working for him as a valet, and Freddie would let him, open the show from time to time.
Mm-hmm. And then he just blew up. He became what did he say he was?
I was a superstar.
Right.
Al told me, and I heard him say that a couple times. I'm sorry, Pete.
Well, he was good.
But that sound was given to him by the late Leo Graham. The same, and now one thing I can honestly say Tyrone should have never done. He passed up on a song that will live forever in black radio and CHR everywhere. Shining Star by the Manhattans. Leo Graham wrote that song and was going to give it to Tyrone. I don't want it.
And the Manhattans took it.
And the Manhattans took it, and the rest
is history.
They can't do a show without doing it.
No, because that's their signature song.
Signature song. Mm-hmm. But their other signature song is right behind that, Kiss and Say Goodbye.
Yes. Let's just kiss and say goodbye.
You don't believe in that now? Get out.
No, you can't kiss people now. You just got to say goodbye. No kissing.
No, he might have a COVID.
Right. Uh-huh. Well, we have hit almost everyone so far. Let's see. You did only one Ohio Players. You know that, right?
I can play another.
Well, I'm just saying. You have not done Lakeside.
And
not done.
We are not doing All the Way Live.
It's All the Way Live. Okay. Walter Jackson is still out there. Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan is still out there. I know you aren't going to play Babyface, but Babyface is still out there. We've done the Jackson 5. You haven't done Earth, Wind, and Fire. You can cross over with the Emotions because they wrote that last song that you played with the Emotions. But Earth, Wind, and Fire has their own realm, as you know. So, yeah, those are the only ones that are left that you haven't touched on.
Okay.
Steve don't like Babyface.
I got nothing against Face.
Yes, you do. You don't like him. Why don't you like Babyface?
I have nothing.
Why don't you like that he gonna pay our rent? He gonna buy our clothes.
See,
get our food.
This started back in the day.
Wash our back.
I ain't said.
Clip our toenails.
Maybe drill
comb our hair.
Okay.
You don't like that.
I didn't know it. Linda Clifford started all this stuff.
Who was Linda Clifford?
No Romance Without Finance. Then Janet come along. What have you done for me lately?
And what's that got to do with Babyface?
And he talking about I'll pay your rent. I'll cook your dinner too.
I'll cook your dinner for you.
Soon as I get home.
Soon as I get home.
I might be dog tired when I get home.
But you don't say that when women come in from work and they're dog tired.
I don't expect anything.
They say, first thing, what's for dinner? So there you go. He was just trying to even the playing field.
I don't mind evening the playing field.
Okay, but you don't like Face.
No.
It's okay. It's okay, Steve. I know. You're just an old man. An old grumpy man.
What?
It's okay.
Grumpy?
Yeah. So anyway, those are the ones that we've played so far. If you've not been listening, we've been doing a salute
to the Midwest.
To the Midwest. Those great artists from the Midwest.
So what we gonna do Friday? The South?
We've already. Well, you did Stax. You did Stax.
That was on another station.
That shall remain nameless.
Right.
Well, we can do it. But you did. Well, you can do the South. It doesn't have to be Stax. it can just be the South, people from the South.
Oh, yeah. That's going to cover a lot.
Well, yeah, it's going to cover a lot. Mm-hmm. So the Midwest has this distinctive sound.
And what would that be, Karen?
I think it's a mixture of what we call soul.
Horns.
But it's more orchestration.
Uh-huh.
Where in the South, it's a little bit rawer, a little less no orchestration.
Just funk.
Yeah, it's a little raw.
It's just
maybe 1 or 2, 3 instruments. Where in the Midwest, you get a little bit more orchestration. But then in Philly, you get a full-blown orchestra. They bring out the harps and
now
the
you
bassoons,
can everything that's in
the orchestra is Philly soul. They are very lush.
Well, you could say the same thing about the Love Unlimited Western California sound.
Well, that was unusual. To me,
well, Barry used
was different.
strings.
He did. But when you listen to I tell you what, the Midwest is a lot of horns.
Yeah.
Lots of horns,
guitar.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
And the South is more bass driven.
Yes, and more guitar, I think, driven.
But it's more like we said, gospel and blues got together and had a baby and called it soul.
Right.
And that's where it came from.
Right. But the Midwest, more horns driven, even the white bands. From the Midwest. When you talk about Chicago and horns.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Ohio Players.
Confunction.
Horns were real important.
Right.
To me, Motown, even though they had they had more rhythm, more bass. Would you say more rhythm? But they had a lot more I think the Motown was a lot more focused on vocals.
They were focused on vocals, but if you listen closely, where everybody was playing in the staff in that 4/4 time, their bass man, James Jamerson, was playing in cut time above the staff with a Fender bass.
Okay.
I mean, listen to some of the lines, like Don't Mess with Bill.
So their bass was very prominent.
Very. And with the drums.
Especially in the 60s.
Yeah, and the drums were just crisp. Not to say they were all that, but they simplified. These guys were jazz musicians. So they gave that sound to Motown Records.
Right.
Because mind you, Smokey wrote lyrics. He never wrote rhythms. He could, as a matter of fact, when they went on tour for the first time, Ray Charles wrote most of Smokey's arrangements for the house band. Like, for instance, when they came to Chicago or when they went to D.C. at the Howard, those guys were they were union musicians, so they could read. But Smokey didn't know how to write for them. The music, not the lyrics.
Right.
So Ray Charles would write down what they call onion skins. Now we're gonna do this right here, and then you do that right there. And a lot of those times they would come in, and they had to really ease through that music because they were doing a lot of one-nighters. So you weren't playing with the same people.
Right.
So
each region had its own sound. I think when you say Barry White, I think he was an anomaly at the time because most of the Western, the sound
from that California
West
soul
was like War.
It
was very
Fifth Dimension.
Watts 106th Street, 3rd, whatever street they was on, and they were a mixture of horns and stuff too. But Barry put another spin on it. Where was he from? Was from California?
He was the only, according to my friend Jesse James, Mr. I Can Do Bad by Myself. He knew Barry. They had that 20th century label. And the reason why Barry was so prevalent in doing his sound, he was the only one that could sing it, that could play it. And he didn't read music.
He didn't read music, right.
It was all feeling.
Yeah, it was all feeling. That's why I was wondering who really put the orchestra together, Love Unlimited.
Well,
that orchestra was fabulous.
Right. But what did he highlight? violins.
Right.
Violins, if you didn't know, violins almost sound human-like.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Got it?
Right. Okay.
Okay. So you add violins, then you add cello.
Viola.
Okay.
So somebody had to have put the music down on paper that he was hearing.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, they would transfer it down.
Right, so that they could play it.
They could play it right.
He did not. People don't know he didn't read music
At all.
Yeah, but he
had some of the most funkiest stuff.
Yeah,
and long.
Very long. He was sort of like
Lawrence Welk.
No, no.
Yeah.
He was Isaac Hayes. He took the Isaac Hayes.
They were out around the same time.
Yeah, I mean, Hot Buttered Soul came out in 69, and then Barry came out in like 73, 74.
That's when he got famous. He sang with a doo-wop group.
Okay, I can see that.
And he sang bass.
I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah, but, you know.
He loved orchestras, man.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I love it. That's why I love the sound of Philadelphia, because it's such a lush sound.
But now, you take the sound of Philadelphia, mix it with a little Midwestern Motown.
Right.
The sound of Philadelphia, Bob Babbage from Detroit.
Right.
Funker. He was a funk.
Make sure you say that right. F-U-N-K.
He was a funk brother first. He replaced James Jamerson.
Okay.
He was also a member of Mothers, Fathers, Sisters, and Brothers.
MFSOB.
MFSOB. Got it? Mm-hmm. A few other people that were funk brothers joined MFSOB. Got it?
Right.
So they travel. Yeah, they travel.
Yeah.
If you listen to that bass line, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, that's Bob Babbage. He also toured with Stevie Wonder.
I'm sure.
And the horn, the strings.
Right. Okay. So, who are you going to tickle our eardrums with next?
Oh, don't say that. That's nasty, baby.
Thanks for listening to The Back Cover. You can catch The Back Cover on TuneIn, Stitcher, and MyTuner. You can also listen to our show, The Ride Home, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Central Standard Time on www.thesoundofsoul.net. Please have your friends and family like and subscribe to our podcast.